Good afternoon and welcome. This is a unique opportunity to listen to the message of two prominent personalities. First, the Prime Minister of Norway, and then the President of Kosovo. I will call first Her Excellency, the Prime Minister of Norway.
So, Excellencies, distinguished guests, today's anniversary gives us a good opportunity to reflect on the importance of international peace and security. The peace agreement in November 1918 set in motion a comprehensive peace effort. However, this effort did not bring the peace and stability that everybody was hoping for. On the contrary, failed attempts at reaching an inclusive peace agreement ended in a tragedy 2 decades later. The end of World War I taught us one valuable lesson. Ending war is always difficult, but achieving sustainable peace is even harder. Few peace agreements are fully implemented. 60% of all conflicts are recurring. Since the mid-1990s, conflict reoccurrence has been more common than the onset of new conflicts. This means that the best way to prevent conflict is to ensure that peace is sustainable. And conflict resolution is not a quick fix. It requires bold leaderships by all the parties involved. It is 25 years since the Oslo Accord between Israel and the PLO was signed. This marked the beginning of an active Norwegian engagement in conflict resolution. These engagements have since become a cornerstone of our foreign policy. And let me share some lessons learned over these years and how this guides us in our work in this area. First, we need to talk to all kinds of actors. Norway is not only aligned with the UN terror list, not with that one of the EU. This makes it possible for us to keep discrete channels of communication open where other countries cannot. From an early stage in the Middle East peace process, we recognized the need to engage all parties. Similar in Afghanistan, we have long promoted an approach that includes all sides. However, there are some limits. For actors that show no interest in a negotiated settlement, such as ISIL, dialogue makes little sense. Second, we recognize the responsibility of the parties. The parties themselves own the conflict and the process. It's only when they want to talk that we can bring people together. It's our job to help foster and build competence. So let me make the example of the UN-sponsored Syria negotiations. They illustrate how important and yet how difficult trust building is. Norway have supported innovative mechanisms for the inclusion of civil society in the peace process. However, this effort will amount to little as long as there is no willingness among the parties to find common ground. Our third lesson learned is that we seek to build trust. Norway is a consistent and predictable actor. We are impartial in conflicts, but we are not neutral. International law and human rights guides our work. We encourage the parties to search for solution, not just to treat the symptoms. They must address the core issues of the conflict. They must look further than the immediate need for stabilization. And fourthly, Norway is in it for the long run when we enter to try to help in conflicts. The Colombian peace process has seen almost 20 years of consistent Norwegian engagement. In the Philippines, we have been involved since 2001. Our engagement for peace in Afghanistan dates back to the 1990s. And just days after this year's anniversary of the Oslo Accord, Norway once again chaired the donor group for the Palestinians. These are just a few examples of our long-term engagement. Our efforts enjoy broad support in the Norwegian society among all political parties in Norway. This means that they can continue even if there are setbacks in various processes. Continuity adds to quality of peace process. It reinforces trust. And the fourth principle we have are that we are willing to fail. Peace diplomacy is always a high-risk activity. If you are there as a politician to win something yourself, it's a bad starting point for a negotiator or a government. So we know that we are willing to fail also if that's what is in the future. The possibility of failure is considerable. Norway accepts this political risk. We need to play a leading role in an area where others face greater constraints. Our efforts will not always succeed, nor will they yield quick or perfect solutions. Even in failure, we have lessons to learn. Our engagement in Sri Lanka is a case in point. Initially, both the progress and the prospects were good. The parties took the initiative. They wanted to resolve the conflict through talks. But over time, however, support for the process eroded before a political solution was reached. Both parties eventually returned to military fighting. So one lesson we learned in Sri Lanka was that the parties must have ownership for a political process to succeed. Sri Lanka also demonstrated a horrendous human cost when a war is ended by military means alone. Libya is another example. In the spring of 2011, Norway explored opportunities for dialogue, seeking to complement UN and African Union efforts. We did not succeed, but it was worth the effort. Engagement of this kind in an early stage is important, even if there is high chances of failure. And number 6, which is important for us, we are discreet. High-profile diplomacy is not conducive to building trust or encouraging discussion of sensitive issues. Parties have learned to expect discretion and professionalism from Norway's peace efforts. In the Colombian peace process, a secret phase facilitated by Norway and Cuba provided essential to moving the process forward. Other Norwegian efforts, for example in Afghanistan, have been kept out of public eye at various stages because of their sensitive character. It is important to give the parties the peace and the space and the privacy they need, especially in the early stages. And finally, Norway seeks to be inclusive. Women are not observers to war. They should not be observers to peace. The inclusion of women in peace process is a priority for Norway. An inclusive peace process contributes to more sustainable peace. So Norway is a strong proponent of the UN's Women's Peace and Security Agenda. We are actively engaged in efforts to establish a global alliance of women mediators. In today's conflict, we see a number of common features. We see weak state structures and porous borders. We see conflicts involved in myriads of militias, terror groups, and often proxy actors. This represents for us a dilemma. For instance, how and with who should you engage when a war is fought by proxies? Harder still, whom can you engage when the proxies deny any involvement in the conflict? Do you seek negotiations between parties on the ground or between their overt or covert backers? Our experience shows us that negotiation between two parties is difficult enough. Conducting multi-actor negotiations increase the difficulty tenfold. But however, the risk of failure is no reason not to try. So the nature of today's conflicts means that we are facing challenges that constitute a direct threat to European and global security. Peace diplomacy remains an important pillar of Norwegian foreign policies. And we are still engaged in ambitious peace efforts and aiming to find lasting solutions, for example, in Colombia and the Philippines. And we stand ready to assist in efforts to de-escalate and prevent conflict from reoccurring. And we are willing to take the toughest challenges because we believe that to try to find peace is worth every effort. It is, for instance, this conviction that guides the Norwegian diplomat Geir Pedersen, as he now steps up as the UN Special Envoy for Syria. And it's against this backdrop we have launched Norway's candidature for the UN Security Council for the period of 2021 to 2022. Our aim is to contribute to strengthening the role of the UN in conflict prevention and resolution. We believe our experience in this field will be an asset in the Security Council. And on this 100th anniversary of the World War I, I would like to urge everyone else also to step up their efforts. There are conflicts enough for all of us. So we should try to find more to work on peace and conflict resolution. And in response to the UN Secretary General Guterres has called for a need to a surge in peace diplomacy, Norway stands ready to do its part by continuing its active role in international peace and reconciliation work. And I think we have some lessons to give to others who would like to try. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Very impressive talk. Let me now call His Excellency the President of Kosovo.
100 vjet me parë, po në këtë ditë lufta për gjakshme në kontinentin tonë mori fund. Mirë po nuk kaluan 2 dekada dhe fatkeqësisht, qytetërimi evropian u ndos sërish në një luftë me përmasa dhe më të mëdha shkatërruese me tërë merrin absurditetin dhe tragjedinë e saj. I gjithë qytetërimi evropian, të gjithë ne jemi të vetëdijshëm për pasojat tragjike të luftrave të deritanishme. Për më tepër, për mua dhe të tjerë që vinë nga Ballkani Perëndimor, këto përjetime janë ende të freskëta. Qytetarët e Ballkanit Perëndimor e njohin ndeshjen e perandorive dhe ideologjive. 100 vjet më parë, ne ishim viktim e luftës ndërmjet perandorisë austriake dhe asaj otomane. Që prej atëherë, gati asnjë gjenerat nuk ka shpëtuar pa përjetuar luftën, duke përfshirë edhe atë e fundit të shekullit 20. Por ne si liderë kemi për detyrë të ndryshojmë këtë cikël të konflikteve. Me lejoni që vetëm një shembull të ilustroj këtë që thash më lart. Sot Kosova është demokracia më e re në Evropë. Ka qenë udhtim i jashtëzakonshëm, i pa imagjinueshëm, por mbi të gjitha ky tregim ende nuk ka marrë fund. Simbolizimi 11 nëntorit ka zënë vend edhe në mendjet e qytetarëve të vendit tim Kosovës. Unë jam 50 vjeç. Jam i vetëdijshëm për arritjet e gjeneratës time, por e di se sa shumë mund të bëjmë ende për Ballkanin Perëndimor dhe Evropën. Kemi fituar lirinë dhe kemi ndërtuar një shtet me shoqëri pluraliste e multietnike, por na mbetet ende të ndërtojmë paqen e qëndrueshme me Serbinë. Unë jam i përkushtuar ndaj këtij qëllimi, sepse e di që populli im e dëshiron paqen. Duam të hyjmë në NATO dhe Bashkim Evropian. Ky është vullneti i mbi 90% i qytetarëve të Kosovës pa dallim etnie. Serbia dhe Kosova kanë obligim që ta mbyllin konfliktin jeshekullor një herë e përgjithmonë. Ky është obligim i përbashkët ndaj Evropës dhe ndaj vlerave demokratike perëndimore. Të arrijë marrëveshje ligjërisht obligative, Kosova dhe Serbia do ta njohin njëra tjetrën de facto dhe de jure si vendet e pavarura dhe sovrane, nuk do të ketë kufi në baza etnike, edhe Kosova dhe Serbia si shtete sovrane do të mbesin me shoqëri multietnike. Kjo është e vetmja rrugë që mund të garantoj lirinë e qytetarëve tanë dhe antarësimin e shteteve tona në Bashkim Evropian. 20 vite më parë, Franca kontribuoi në çlirimin e Kosovës dhe që nga atëherë vazhdon të mbështes Kosovën dhe krejt Ballkanin perëndimor. Kosova është mirënjohëse për mbështetjen e Francës, por Franca, Shtetet e Bashkuara të Amerikës, Britania e Madhe, Gjermania, Italia dhe gjitha shtetet tjera duhet të vazhdojnë përpjekjet për arritjen e paqes së qëndrueshme në Ballkanin perëndimor, respektivisht arritjen e marrëveshjes paqësore në mes të Kosovës dhe Serbisë. Unë jam falenderues që Franca mbështet fuqishëm përpjekjet e Bashkimit Evropian në udhëheqjen e zonës Mogherini për arritjen e kësaj marrëveshje. Sigurisht se procesi pajtim ndërmjet dy shteteve është i vështirë, por jo i pamundur. Status quo për Kosovën është e rrezikshme, ndërsa konflikti ngrirë mes Kosovës dhe Serbisë cënon paqen dhe sigurinë. Andaj, edhe skeptikët e marrëveshjes paqësore ligjërisht obliguese e konsiderojnë pothuajse të pamundur. Ky proces nuk ka vetëm për krahas. Përkundër kësaj, një gjë duhet të themi me dije të plot. Cila është alternativa dialogut dhe marrëveshjes? Dhe kush nga ne që jemi këtu dëshiron të mendoj për pasojat afatgjate në rast se nuk arrin marrëveshje, ndoshta luftra, tragjedi dhe rritjet e populizmit e nacionalizmit. Prandaj, unë konsideroj që nuk duhet të presim që të kaloj edhe gjenerat tjetër pa arritur një marrëveshje historike paqësore Kosovë-Serbi. Ky është momentumi, tani duhet të veprojmë. Ky është kuptimi i thirrjes sime. Ju falemnderit shumë. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President, for this very moving and very direct plea.